You surrender all control when you tell the truth. But when you tell a lie, or when you are intentionally vague, or when you are slightly deceitful, if you use your words to manipulate, if you don't let your yes be yes or your no be no, you are setting a trap for future you. What's going on, gentlemen? Welcome to the Institute of Men podcast. My name is Keaton Tucker. I started this channel, I started the podcast, and I'm glad that you're checking us out. If this is your first time, I started this podcast because when I was 23, I was directionless. I was living in my parents' basement. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I had no idea what I believed, and I wanted a girlfriend. And I went to my father once and started to complain, and he asked me, son, what kind of man do you want to be? And I didn't know the answer. And he said, I would figure out what kind of man you want to be and pursue that vision for the rest of your life. And I said, okay, done. And so I started doing that, and I started this channel to help young men and all men do the exact same thing. Figure out what kind of man you want to be and pursue that vision relentlessly for the rest of your life. So if that's interesting to you, if you're like, I want to figure out what I believe, I want to know who I can become, I want to be a man of character, a man of morality, a man of virtue, a man of valor. If that's you, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also go and listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and you can see the entire library. I've been doing this for about 2 years, YouTube for about 3 weeks as of the recording of this video. So please hit that subscribe button, give us a like and a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And if you don't like this content, just pretend that you didn't see it, because that helps me out also. To look at a proverb, Proverbs chapter 6, if you get wisdom, you get everything else. If you think about the opposite of wisdom is foolishness, and if you live foolishly, you're going to have a hard time. But if you get wisdom, you get everything else. You'll have better relationships. You will have more financial success. You will be more successful at work. You're also just going to have a much better life because you're making good decisions. You're giving thought to your future. Your bank account doesn't have to have $11 on the Wednesday before you get paid. Like, you just start making better decisions. So if you get wisdom, you get everything else. Today's proverb comes from chapter 6, verses 1 through 5. Let me just read this to you. My son, if you've put up security for a neighbor, if you have given your pledge for a stranger, if you're snared in the words of your mouth, if you're caught in the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, and save yourself. For you have come into the hand of your neighbor. Go, hasten, and plead urgently with your neighbor. Give your eyes no sleep, give your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like the gazelle from the hand of a hunter, and a bird like the hand from the fowler. I've got a funny story as an example. Just as an example, you've probably done this. I know that I have done this, but I'm going to pick on my wife because she's not here to defend herself. My sweet, sweet wife. A few weeks ago, we were on a walk as a family, and we had been invited to an end of summer kid's birthday. We had also been invited to another birthday party, and we were kind of tired. We had an event the night before. We had stuff on Sunday, and we had decided, you know what, we're going to have a family day. We're going to go for a walk. We're just going to relax at home. We had made this agreement. Well, her friend calls. And they start chit-chatting about, I believe it was about a suit for a wedding. And then the conversation switches over to, hey, are you going to the end of summer kids party? And my wife, instead of saying, no, this is what we've decided to do instead, and this is why, she goes, I don't know. We've thought about it. Maybe we haven't really decided. And then her friend goes, oh, you should go. And she's like, yeah, we might. She said, no, you should go. It'll be fun. I'll be there. And it goes on and on and on. And at the end of the conversation, which was like about 15 seconds, because that's how fast things change, my wife goes, yeah, we'll be there. We'll see you later. And I'm listening to this whole thing go down. And I turn to my wife and I go, did you just give up our family day to go to this party? And she goes, yeah, but I didn't want to disappoint her. That is exactly how we start to get trapped in our words. It begins with, we don't want to disappoint someone. And really what we don't want to do is we want to control how people view us, see us, and we want to be able to control these outcomes. We use our words all the time to try to control outcomes. And usually this manifests itself in slight deceitfulness, intentional vagueness of the words. Maybe we will. Maybe I will. a little bit of flakiness, a refusal to commit to plans, a refusal to commit to what you have said you will do. Sometimes even outright lying, because the only reason you and I lie is because we want to be able to control the outcome of whatever happens. If the opposite, if you were to say, if you just tell the truth, you automatically forfeit the outcome of what happens. Here's some very, very simple examples, ones that I have done, ones that maybe you have done. I haven't done all of these, but I know people have done all of these. That girl that has friend zoned you, and because you don't want to accept that she has friend zoned you, you're into this girl, you think it's vibing, and she friend zones you, and you don't want to admit to yourself that it's never going to happen. You still have something in the back of your head that says, oh, my life's kind of like a Hollywood movie. It's going to come around in the end. We're going to get in a big fight, and she's going to run back to me and realize how silly it was that she friend zoned me. No, no. First of all, assume she's telling the truth. When she says it's not going to happen, assume it's not going to happen. You need to assume she's telling the truth. If she says it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Assume she's telling the truth. If she says you don't want to accept that she's friend zoned you, so you make the statement, we can just be friends, you're lying. You have no intention of just being friends. You're hoping she comes around to see what a great guy you are, and you're setting yourself up for pain in the future because you will not let that go. Eventually, you'll be talking to her about like why you guys should date, and then you're going to have this separation that's almost like a breakup for you. For her, it'll be a sigh of relief. Or she's going to start dating some guy, and then you're going to get mad because she told you ahead of time. But you set a trap for yourself, and instead of letting it be friend zoned and letting it be like, man, that sucks, we're actually not going to be able to be friends because it's not possible. I'm just setting myself up for heartbreak later. Instead of being honest, you set a trap for yourself and it hurts later. Traps always hurt later. Future you always regrets what past you did when it comes to getting trapped. Here's another example. You don't tell the full truth and somebody uses it against you. So you're intentionally vague because you don't have the courage to tell the fullness of the truth, and later that gets used against you. That sucks. When you, even if you say something well-intentioned and you're trying to protect the person and not tell the fullness of the truth or whatever, when they use that against you, and people will, that's worse. Because now you have to say, I'm not a liar, I just didn't tell you the fullness of the truth, which is kind of the same thing as being a liar, or at least being deceitful or being intentionally vague. And you're going to have your words thrown. It's a trap. It's a trap. I think what I'm trying to get you to understand, if you don't tell the full truth, if you're not honest, if you're not precise in your words, they will come back to get you. They're going to come get you. Your boss, here's a good one. Your boss asks you if you can take one more thing on your plate, but you don't have the courage to say no. So because you're afraid you'll either get in trouble, you won't get that promotion, you'll fall out of favor or something. You're afraid, you're at the hand of your boss and your plate's already full and you don't have the courage to say, I actually cannot take one more thing on my plate at this time. Because you don't say that, they heap one more thing on your plate, and within 6 weeks, you're stressed out of your mind and angry at your boss for not knowing how much was on your plate, when really you said, yes, I can handle it. No, don't get yourself in that trap. Here's some more complex examples. And this is going to be specifically for us Christians. You do not state what you believe about Christianity and its teaching because you don't want to, quote, offend somebody, even though people have no problem offending you. So if you're going to say something that Christians call true, so for example, that abortion is wrong, if you're going to say that if you're unwilling to say that because you don't want to offend somebody, I want to think about that. They have no problem telling you that you are wrong or evil or vile or out of place or out of touch, or pick your favorite thing if you don't support what they believe. Well, who's your loyalty? You don't want to deny the words of Jesus. You don't want to deny the words of the one who bought you with a price. Have some courage to say what is true. Or let's say that you can't say that marriage is between one man and one woman, and you go, I don't know, maybe you could read it this way, you could read it this way. You're just setting yourself a trap. You're not advancing the kingdom. You're retreating is what you're doing. We do this out of fear. We are afraid that how we will be viewed. We have a fear of man. We're afraid of how we'll be viewed. We're afraid of what other people will feel, even though people are allowed to feel what they want to feel. You don't get to control people's emotions by lying. That's wrong. You don't get to control people's emotions by telling the truth either. They are an autonomous person that allows them with their own emotions and their own ability to respond to things. That open statement of the truth might be what they need to realize that Christians are actually serious. Because one thing that people won't do anymore, because Christians have become so vague and soft and unconvicted about their beliefs, is Christianity for a lot of people can't even be taken seriously as a religion or as a faith movement. That's why there's 70,000 people going to Burning Man, because at least Burning Man knows what they believe, even though they got flooded. How funny was that? So you might as well practice telling the truth, speaking simply and directly, so that you don't get trapped in your words, and so that you become a man of integrity and somebody that people can trust. Like, you're always going to know what they think. People don't like vagueness. People don't like it when you don't tell the truth. People don't like it when they don't know where you stand. They have no ability to gauge who you are in the world. So we got to figure out, how are we going to solve it? How are we going to make it so that our words do not become a trap that ensnare us later and then harm or mislead the people around us? Well, here's something. This is from Jordan Peterson. Learn to tell the truth, and it's in the Bible. Jordan Peterson pulls a lot from the Bible. Learn to tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Okay, there's a gap between telling the truth and then not lying. Don't lie. Practice telling the truth about everything. And you have to practice, because you're not just practicing stating the truth or stating what you believe or stating what you think. You are practicing letting go of fear and control of how people will respond to you. You can't be a courageous man or a man of war or a man of valor if you're also afraid of what people will think of you. It's impossible. Everybody wants a man of courage and a man of valor. Nobody actually likes to deal with men of courage and men of valor, because they're kind of aggressive. They're kind of they're firm in what they believe. They stand very strong. People like the idea of strong men. When you meet a strong man, a lot of times people are like, that's not what I actually want you to be soft and like womanly. That's why people try to get you to act like a woman. Don't fall for that crap. Be a man. Be a defender of what's good, right, and true. You need to learn to be okay with disappointment. Learn to sit in uncomfortable moments. Just learn to sit in uncomfortable moments. If you want to endure an uncomfortable moment after you stated the truth, the best thing to say is nothing. Just sit there, let it be uncomfortable, let people process their emotions of whatever is going on. You're going to have times in your life where you have to say things that are uncomfortable. You have to. You can't not say uncomfortable things if it means avoiding the truth. And so you're going to have to let people have the space and the silence to process some of those emotions. Learn to be okay if you disappoint people, and learn that you don't need to control people's emotions. You don't have to. And I think the thing that will help the most with this is when you recognize that everything you say will either come back to entrap you or it will set you free. The open statement of the truth sets people free. You surrender all control when you tell the truth. But when you tell a lie, or when you are intentionally vague, or when you are slightly deceitful, if you use your words to manipulate, if you don't let your yes be yes or your no be no, you are setting a trap for future you. So it's going to circle back and come to you. So you'll either end up in that trap, or you'll become an incredible liar and have no idea what's true anymore, and then it will trap you, or you can just begin to practice telling the truth. And that is the better route, because there is no trap when you tell the truth. That's all I have for you today. Please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified anytime that we release new content. And thank you for listening to the Institute of Men podcast.